Hi, everyone. I am Julie Eshleman. I'm a researcher who focuses on disability and inclusion and assistive and accessible technologies. And today I want to ask a question that sounds really simple, but I think it isn't. Is accessibility a right or a privilege? I think that we often treat this like it's a yes or no question. Either something is accessible or it's not. You either have access or you don't. But like a lot of topics that I have talked about in this series, I think accessibility isn't a binary. And treating it like it's one means that we miss a lot of the nuance that actually helps us understand what we're talking about in more depth. So just like we've discussed in the video on normal, when we flatten complex experiences into just two categories, we usually end up creating systems that just don't work for anyone very well. Access is not a light switch. It's not on or off. It's dynamic and it changes and it's contextual. So something might be accessible in theory, but not actually in practice. Or it might work for one person, but not for another person. Or it might work on Monday, but it does not work on Wednesday. It'll completely fall apart. So I want to give a personal example. There have been times that I have technically had access to something, like a full-time job in a workplace that called itself equal opportunity employer and non-discriminatory. And so on paper, I was included. But in reality, I could not function in that format. I can produce 40 hours worth of high quality work in a week, but I cannot spend 40 hours doing it. I need the flexibility to work in a rhythm that suits how quickly I process things and how deeply I think and what it takes for me to recharge so that I can keep going and do it again. And when I am forced into a traditional schedule, I always end up overwhelmed. I have headaches, I have rising panic, I have cognitive fatigue, I'm frustrated. And eventually I burn out and I have to quit. So, yes, technically I have access to those opportunities, but I can't participate meaningfully, at least not without sacrificing my health or my joy in order to do it. And I don't think that that's what access looks like. That's just a gate with a polite sign on it telling me no. And but we keep trying to measure accessibility like it's a checklist. Is there a ramp? Yes or no? Are there captions? Yes. Is there a door opener? Yes. But what happens if there is a ramp, but it is blocked? Or if the captions are on, but inaccurate? Or if the door opener is on the wrong side? Or it's installed too high on the wall for someone who's using a wheelchair to reach it? So, real accessibility, I think what I'm trying to say, is more than just presence. It's about actual usability and consistency and thoughtfulness and respect. I think when we ask, is access a right or a privilege? What we might really be asking is access treated as something that everyone deserves or something that only certain people get? If they ask nicely, if they have a diagnosis or the right documentation, if they advocate hard enough, or if the timing is right, or if it's convenient or cheap. And I feel like that's kind of the deeper question to consider, and one that I'm going to keep exploring in the next video. I'm kind of considering a part two to this one. So when we look at how access is actually distributed, so who gets it easily, who has to fight for it, and how privilege kind of shapes what we think of as normal. So thank you for spending a few minutes with me. Until then, please be thoughtful and be kind and keep making more room for more people. See you soon.